was just having a little power handshake with me and myself, like I like to do from time to time in order to establish my own dominancy towards myself. And so much can be said in this moment of a handshake about a handshake. We all know, what a weak, shaky handshake means, what a strong one, empowering one means, palms up, palm down. It establishes in that single moment in time so much of truth and underlying relationship that goes between two individuals. I myself am very sensitive to the way somebody shakes my hand, and it tells me a lot. And I think that you gotta be a zombified Homo sapiens not to be sensitive to those moments, because they don't lie. There's a Armenian proverb that says the tongue doesn't have a bone. And I will complete it by saying that, but the hands do, um, because so much is going on in that one single moment, and anything else that follows, which is done by the tongue, can easily be a lie. But those moments in time never lie. That's why I enjoyed very much the whole week seeing Donald Trump handshaking those hands of powerful chiefs of states and leaders. It started in Saudi Arabia. He was less. Actually, he wasn't submissive at all. He wasn't submissive at all. It wasn't like he wasn't holding hands. Like George Bush was. His wife didn't. His daughter, didn't submit to the protocols of wearing head covering like Hillary did, and just this right there told us a lot about the new relationship between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. However, when he went to Israel, you could see him with the little kippah, so that tells us a lot too. Um, his his speech in Saudi Arabia to me was extremely inspiring, but really, when you read into it, he was suggesting that the funds towards terrorism should be cut off in order, like, to prevail over it. And it's all good and fair, except that he was suggesting that those funds were coming from Iran, which is a blatant lie, because Iran is, it's not defending Iran at all, but it is one of the biggest enemies of ISIS, along with Assad. So to say that they are the ones financing the terrorism while he's in the country that is actually doing it was a little bit off-putting. So there are really strange things coming from Donald Trump, because I can't really situate him. Like, obviously, so many people are against him. The elites are scared of him. They're trying to destitute him. They're trying to overthrow him by any means. But on the other hand, like, he's acting in weird ways that are not totally on the good side either. Like really really strange actions from him. So much mystery, I believe, to be resolved around this character of Donald Trump. Anyway, so he went to meet the Pope as well, and that was a hell of a meeting. I really enjoyed watching it, and I wish he gave a speech at the Vatican. I don't believe he did. If I couldn't find anything, if you guys found something, please post a link. I would love to see it. But it seemed to have been a very brief meeting, and it was just for half an hour. Even though, like, at this level of the game, in half an hour, so much is happening. On my level, we just get a chance to greet each other and take a cup of coffee. But on their level, I guess They go straight to the point, and I wish, many of us, I believe, that we were able to be a fly on the wall and hear what was going on. And all I know is that when he came out and basically said goodbye, he said to the Pope one of the most intriguing sentences I have ever heard, which can be so many things. And the sentence is, "I will not forget what you said." So it could be a good thing, but it could be a threat in disguise. Maybe some. What happened there? What did the Pope say that Donald Trump said? "I will not forget what you said." It's really, really intriguing to me. And this Pope that I'm gonna call, because he's a gangster, so I'm gonna call him the Popster. So this Popster is. You could feel he was annoyed and aggravated of meeting with Donald Trump. Like he was. They were following the protocols, and if you really follow it, he was like his nerves seemed to be already like on in the orange when they met. Like he was already kind of antsy and on the edge, because he seemed to be very aggravated by the photographers, seemed to be very aggravated by the whole thing, and a little bit like about to snap out or something. He also looked like a little Gollum coming out of his cave, and being exposed to the light of this blonde political gladiator, without sounding gay, that is Donald Trump. And it looked like a little demon, whose misfeats and deformities were exposed in the light of the day. I thought the guy was going to collapse at some point, from is it the statue of Donald Trump? I don't think so. I mean, these people are powerful, but he was definitely scared. Like you could feel it. This is not my imagination. This is a real read, and it was even more clear because the sound feedback was extremely bad. I had difficulties to hear what they were saying to each other. Hence, all my senses focused more on their body language and what was going on, and I could really feel that the Pope was absolutely like trying to avoid eye contact, squeamish, a little bit wobbly, and come on, it's just Donald Trump. Imagine this guy if Jesus comes back. I mean, he's gonna just melt and collapse, So that was that was entertaining to watch. Then another handshake was with Emmanuel Macron, and I hate to say it, who is my president. But he's a French president, and I'm a French citizen, so hence I have to accept him as my president. Just like some Americans who voted for Hillary gotta accept Donald Trump as their president. And it goes both ways, guys. And so Macron, that was another whale handshake, that there was so much like tension between the two of them. But on the other hand, the guy looked like a little teenager, He had like this boyish attitude. I mean, the guy is very young, but still, it doesn't excuse it. Like on the political level, you don't act like a teenager. I mean, look at them sitting side by side. The guy was antsy and looked like a teenager next to a man. And this is what it looks like when a beta male meets an alpha male, I guess, And there were signs of uncontrolled body language submission. As far as I'm concerned, this is what I got to see. And the only thing that gave Macron like some credibility was basically the suit he was wearing with the tie. So he always looked more credible with it. And but he was the tension could be felt. And at the G20 summit, of course, like we all got to see that Macron want to shake many hands before shaking Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's, and Donald Trump pulled him towards him like. Like something that was old to him. It was there was aggressivity going on in that moment, and it's like I found this to be fantastic. But here in France, it was interpreted from Donald Trump as being aggressive and rude. I mean, and what Macron did is a typical French move, and because the French in general, not me, I'm a pretty straightforward guy, but in general they are freaking passive aggressive, and that was a passive aggressive move, than to ignore the guy, and not shake his hand in due time. Another passive aggressive move here is to actually shake your hand, but look away. So the guy is shaking your hand, but he's not making eye contact. That is so freaking annoying. It makes you want to punch him in the face. And you can't do that because you are in this social moment, and that is what makes it passive aggressive and powerful. It is powerful because the guy is despising you in the sight of everybody, and you don't get to do anything about it. So, but enough about the handshakes. It came out as a handshake week in a week where the Manchester attacks took place. I believe it is more important, but I am guilty as well of being more actually interested by the handshakes than by the attack. It's really weird. It's really weird because initially when I read the headline about the Manchester attacks, I didn't know. I kind of just scrolled through and at first ignored it because I didn't know if it was 2-3 years past headline, if it was some prediction in the coming, or whatever it was. But I wasn't interested right away, and I felt extremely guilty afterwards. But I couldn't ignore the fact that I was kind of apathic to it. And it reminds me of the words of Emmanuel Macron himself, who said that we have to get used to terrorism becoming part of our daily lives. So in that retrospect, they have succeeded because it became just some depersonalized, faraway event to me. And to other people around me as well, but it is not fair to the victims of this event, of course. But in this whole thing, what is shocking to me is that it took place in the first place, because with all the security and surveillance grid that has been put in place and accepted by the majority of people under the guise of this type of threats, exchanging security for safety, security for yeah, it's privacy for safety. Sorry about that. It is astounding that it still took place. I mean, it's really strange to me. So, in so many words, what I'm saying is that it is not a hoax, but it is some type of false flag in the way that it is allowed to happen. It is very difficult for me to believe that nobody was aware that it was that it was shaping up, that it was taking place. Like especially in the UK, that is a very secure country. Like if I were to travel to the UK with a gun pellet, I would be controlled. It's not easy. It's absolutely not easy. So I really believe that it was it took place with approbation from the powers to be. And we tend to forget that everything started with 9/11, and right away people reacted and got to see through it. but now it's become just like we're kind of starting to believe the narrative. So that is strange, you know. That is extremely strange to me. Anyway, so that would be all for today, and take care.